That's okay. I'll run it off the video, I think, or something like that.
Welcome to the Pack Filler Podcast. I'm Pat Bulger. Oh, shit, I didn't hit record on the goddamn board. It's because Jackson wasn't here.
Yeah.
How am I going to do that?
At once.
How am I going to do that?
Now you just let it out.
Once.
But he's not here.
Yeah, but how am I going to do that? How am I going to restart the show without restarting the show?
Can you take the audio off?
Can you guys hear me
YouTube?
blushing? Can you
What
see
you
me
say?
blushing?
What you say?
How many years
that
have you
if you're
been doing
listening
this?
to the
Fucking
podcast,
20.
if you're listening to the podcast and you missed the first part, go to the YouTube and you'll catch the.
There we go. That's what we'll do.
Yeah.
That's what we'll do. So for those of you just tuning in now because I didn't hit the fucking record button, I'm going to swear tonight. The dogs are off the chain.
Oh, Mrs. Waples, please turn off your shit.
I know.
Oh no. Well, we could go longer that way.
That's
So
true.
anyway,
Yeah.
the Hi Pat Bulger podcast, self-deprecation, making fun of somebody else, theme song that's too old. Question in was the last time you were mad at an inanimate object. Paul is the man with the plan. When was the last time you were pissed?
That was Sunday. And what it is my wife's at work and I always clean on Sunday. and so there's a battle. I purchased for our house a central vac system.
Okay.
Everybody knows what that is, right?
Sure.
Yeah.
Which are cool. Which would be
Absolutely.
really cool.
My wife absolutely hates it. And to find out, majority of the people I know that have it, usually the women don't like it. It seems
Really?
too cumbersome or something. As a
What?
general rule. Not
so
all.
you got to drag the hose to every
Yeah.
room kind of a thing?
Yeah.
Is that or the?
I guess that's a guy thing. We're used
know
to
how much I
dragging
would-
it around.
Maybe for you, Paul. All
I don't
of
know.
us are blessed with that.
So anyway, so what happened was we got in an argument. This thing is like 15 years old, and the hose, there's an attachment where you can put in the carpet beater.
Sure.
Well, it fell over once and it cracked the handle. I got it fixed a little bit, and then it finally crapped out. So I called the guy, installed it, and he's going to give me a deal on a whole new package, new hose, everything, for what it would cost just for the hose. It's a thumbs up. My wife says, I hate that thing. Let's just get a normal vacuum.
Okay.
And I'm like, and I gave her my reasons why I don't like it. And
But
everything.
honey,
So I let her pick out a vacuum. She got to pick up the vacuum she wants.
did you go Dyson?
No, she went with the Shark.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, the reason that I don't like it is the reason why when I'm vacuuming, they're starting to happen. And I hate this dang thing. And it's big, cumbersome. It's, to get underneath the couch or something, you have to take it all apart. It's crap. So, of course, I was dropping the F-bomb a couple of times, and I wanted to throw it down the stairs, but I can't because it's my wife's vacuum. I just want my...
You got mad at a vacuum.
Can you
It's
just
terrible.
still get the thing fixed? And
Yeah, well, I can purchase another one, but I told her I wouldn't because what she spent on this vacuum is what I would have had for that kit.
Oh.
So I'm just going to give it some time, and then I'm just saying, you know what?
marital bliss.
Yeah. I mean,
Like,
it's
get
a
a boat,
compromise.
get it all.
Because
Don't say happy wife.
No, I'm saying marital bliss. Get everything.
Yeah.
Why would you Why did you just settle just for one? I recently got an Xbox. My wife got a new coat.
Oh, tit for tat.
There you go.
Gotcha.
Time for a new bike.
Yeah. Now, notice with Paul, because we took too long.
Yeah.
I said he's the man who has the plan. Next, he's the witch who always likes to say bitch, Mr. Sam Waples.
and he does.
Oh,
You're not
man.
necessarily a witch, but you like to say
Yeah,
bitch. So I was
I
trying to
do.
find a rhyming word, and
do.
yeah. So I didn't want to say itch because that'd just
Yeah.
be like you were bothersome.
I've been known to be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
David's like, yep.
That's
my brother.
Yeah, most recently, what day was that on? I was trying to get my bike all set up. I think it was Thursday last week. And I was I think I was even swearing through our text line probably. Yeah, my rear derailleur wasn't working. And I was just about to throw it across the city. Bury it, burn it.
And it was the derailleur's fault, right?
It was the derailleur's
Yeah.
fault.
Did it out of spite.
Yep, it did. It did.
Spite.
It went after me,
Yeah.
and I settled the score.
Third, he's the med who keeps you from being dead, Mr. David Waples. I keep calling you Mr. David Waples. Are you the kind of guy, are you like totally over the top where you're like, call me doctor?
Yeah.
Do you insist people call you doctor?
No, not at all. But I always introduce myself that way, like in the hospital.
Do you?
Or in the clinic, but never. Except Rafa, when you order a Rafa thing, you can like have it sent to. It's like Mr., Mrs., and Doctor. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. So
no, I'm gonna start doing it.
I don't order Roth. I'm not a doctor.
Yeah. Well, exactly.
Only doctors can afford Rafa.
Yeah,
there we go.
I got the idea from you guys.
You have the option to trigger doctor.
Yeah.
On your shipping address, it can go to like
Can I start doing that? I have a master's degree. Sure. Can I be Master Pat?
I've always wanted to be Esquire. Why don't they have Esquire anymore?
That's a good point. Yeah.
Paul Main Esquire. When were you mad at something that didn't have a soul?
Oh, you really set that
earlier.
one up.
I'm just kidding.
No, I was
chicken. I hate chicken. Chickens don't have souls. That's why we eat them.
You really set Sam up for this one. I was like, how could I spin Sam as an inanimate object? And then you said without a soul. And
sure.
Oh, pretty much.
Yesterday I was asleep on the couch and like 5 o'clock taking my 10-minute cat nap, and out of nowhere the whole house is coming down, or that's what I thought.
Okay.
In a dead sleep, and Sam's just on the window in the backyard, just slamming it as hard as he can. And I like jumped off the couch so fast I thought I was gonna pass out. So
I'm like walking by his back, into his garage because I just had to grab something, and I like just looking over and see him pass out, and I go over there. And I'm like, oh yeah, let's do it. Bang!
You guys are such dickheads.
I know.
We gotta start off the fact that you consider your brother.
Well, I was gonna say being mad at him is kind of like getting mad at a computer. Like,
sure.
What are you gonna do? It's just busted. It's just busted software. The programming's faulty. So,
Mom was drinking back then.
She turned her life around by the time I came out.
She did. She just realized, whoa, I better not do that again.
Look what came out of that.
Yeah.
I'm not
Wow.
doing that again. Whoa.
Jackson's not here, because I was going to say he's the kid who goes faster than you did. See what I did? Mr. Jackson Bulger. Jackson's at home with his probably 40th cold of the year.
Mm-hmm.
He works around kids who
meddling kids
who wipe their kids with their ass with their hands and wipe their noses with the same hands. And then ask for a big hug at the end of the day. Yeah, exactly. Me, I'm the old fart with the wonky heart.
There it
is. Last time I got mad at an inanimate object, I'm really glad to be done with that word here shortly.
It was about 6 o'clock when we didn't start the...
Yeah, right there.
It should have been the board. Yeah, I was mad. It's the board's fault that I didn't hit record. And now you got me looking to make sure. Yeah, we're recording. No, notice at the back door of the pub behind Paul's head, there is a sign that says "Mind Your Head." Now, I bought that to be all British pub and all that kind of stuff. Probably about 8 times a month, I walk through that door and just bash my head, and I punch that sign. I punched that sign because it's the sign's fault. One time I have actually hit my head on that entryway so badly that I dented the metal little cap on the top of a bike of a baseball hat. Like they're like pretty much solid metal. Yeah. I dented it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And we wonder why Pat has problems.
Mm-hmm.
Might be something else wrong other than your heart.
I was going to say, maybe, because it's a signaling issue that we've come to with your heart. Maybe it's starting from the brain.
Traumatic brain injury. Yeah, it's like, I should just wear my helmet everywhere I go. Yeah. Be one of those special kids. Mm-hmm. Oh, God, was that bad? Am I in trouble?
No, but it put a smile on my face.
Okay, good. Yeah. Let's recap the week, shall we? First of all, a group ride happened. I understand there was quite a bit of testosterone that was flowing through the veins. Jackson said he couldn't recover very well after the ride.
That's his first road ride, isn't it, though?
No, he and I did one earlier.
What, on gravel bikes?
Well, here's, for the listener who doesn't understand, here's my text exchange that I got. It's like, Jackson was like, hey, I know we're supposed to meet tomorrow, but I'd like to sleep in. It's that there. Yeah, that'll do it. And so Jackson telling me he had to sleep in indicates you guys went hard. And then you, Sam, texted, well, I was on your guys' wheel and I was doing 400 watts. So that tells me 2 words: dick measuring, right out of the gates.
Let's explain what kind of bike he was riding doing 400 watts. Well, he brought a knife to a gunfight.
I brought a kid's baseball bat to a gunfight.
Did you?
Yeah, so he had a gravel bike with what 35s on there or something.
32s,
like
yeah.
So you could hear him in the background. It's going. You guys are going fast. It's 400 watts. It's like, and we're talking, and he's like, so.
Okay.
There is. I have to confess, there's a couple of times that this one road, Betts Road, there was a headwind. And then Jackson and I just pushed it a little bit on those hills. And then the other time is we sprinted for the sprint sign on Thorpe, which he punched over 1,200 watts.
Jackson did?
Yeah.
Did he tell you that?
Stand by the fact, though, that
He's my kid.
And we were up front most of
measuring?
the time, too.
You were on the front for the 95% of the time, maybe even 99%.
And we were talking. So it wasn't like...
I don't think it was like a casual conversation, though. I think it was like...
Well, I was talking.
Yeah, that sounds good.
No one was listening.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wait, what?
I get that a lot.
So was it serious early season or was it?
No,
not big of a deal.
It was, yeah. I mean, it's just starting to rack up some miles and the roads, and that's always a hard transition from winter.
Okay, all right. Paul, you apparently did a little extra on Sunday.
Yeah, and then I rode Sunday. Planned on doing the Troika Loop. Yeah, but CP wanted to go for a ride.
That gives me trauma, those two words.
Well, I'm glad I
Troika
didn't
Loop.
because the wind was blowing the opposite way, which means... Because I like that loop because about 2/3 of it is across tail to tailwind.
Yeah.
The way you go, because you go into the wind, climbing up and get out, and then you swing back around. But the wind changed, so it was a good thing. So then I would have been bucking by myself for
Which
about
loop?
good Troika Loop, which goes up to Medical Lake for those who don't know, and then across Highway 2.
The irony is that Paul's talking about a triathlon.
That's a triathlon loop, which goes by where I grew up.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
yeah,
you can just hear the memories.
So yeah, and I rode with CP real shortly. He had to turn around and go back, and then the cool thing was on my way back where CP peeled off, my friend John Bozo, who has a brand new Trek
real
e-bike.
name, real name, everybody who's
spelled
listening,
exactly like that. Yep.
And he doesn't chuckle. He doesn't. You don't punch him in the stomach. He doesn't go. Nothing like that.
No, and you don't want to piss that man off. He's not a tiny man.
No.
Yeah. But anyway, he has this new Trek e-bike, and I was starting to feel a little bit spent. And then I hopped on his wheel, and we had a good tow back in, and he was like motor pacing. It was fun.
Nice.
I need to ask a lot of other people questions here, but
Done.
John Bozo's on an e-bike.
Yeah, he's got a little ticker problem. He doesn't have what you have, no, but it's kind of a genetic.
No shit. Yeah. Okay, I got to talk to John. I got to talk to John. Oh my god. Sam, you actually registered and showed up for an event.
I got.
I believe everybody should start gathering food, putting it into bunkers, because this is a sign of the apocalypse.
You're not wrong.
You showed up to an event which you paid money to do.
The number of people that were talking about that at their event are like, "You're here."
Really? Listeners?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Listeners. Tubbs, who you ran into
I should hit
last
the record
year,
button
he was
more
there.
often.
Yeah, I know. They're like, man, didn't think you'd come. That'd be a donation. And I was like, yeah. I'm as surprised as you. But
when you asked to borrow my derailleur, I said yes because I figured you weren't going to go anywhere.
You figured it was safe.
Yeah.
He's like, sure.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Call your bluff.
Well, talk to me about the ride.
Yeah. So Sunday was spicy. I think I broke it down with a lot of Spokane riders that everybody
now
here knows.
let's tell everybody what it was. Is the Afraid of Grand Fondo. It was how far?
It's 90 miles.
90 miles.
Yeah.
It is
5,200 feet of elevation.
I want to be nice. It's central bumfuck Washington.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful.
Mordor.
What was the 3?
That's your third F word.
Is it? That's it? I'm done?
Yeah.
Son of a
Cutting you
crap
off.
head. Paul just held up 3 fingers. He's like, "You're done." Wow. Okay, I can't release the hounds. And I did it last year.
Yep.
And it is so in other words, you're just following my shadow.
Yeah.
So next year you won't be able to ride because your heart won't work.
You don't want to follow him. You have AFib.
Yeah, exactly. You'd be just like flight of stairs. You're just like, go on without me.
How I am most days.
Now, talk to me about what you thought, overall feelings, how the ride went.
Yeah.
Let's give it a ride report.
I would say like everybody has a hard time on fondos, or gives fondos a hard time, and I get it because it is a mass start of a bunch of yahoos.
Yeah.
And there's a whole mix of riders, but those front like probably 20, maybe 30 riders, those are Ricky racers. Those are like Cat 1-2 riders. Those guys are strong. Yeah. And so I didn't know where I'd place in the day. I definitely had hopes of like, just because my fitness from Maui, I was like, maybe I'll be able to do like top 20. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Having no idea what the profile looks like, you start off going uphill. And I was like,
yeah, you do. That road right off the as soon as you hit gravel.
As soon as it's not neutral, they're like, and go up this hill.
Yeah.
And then I was making massive gains on downhill, but I didn't know that like we had then started the descent. And so I gapped like between myself and another rider. I'd let them go, and they bridged up to that like second group on the road or first group on the road. And I wished I would have followed them. If I would have known the profile, I would have. Lots of excuses. Anyway, found myself
failure to prepare is preparing.
I mean, that's all
fail.
like it's because I was definitely going into this mindset of like I just want to enjoy riding. I mean, I
right.
was talking to Paul about like I brought a pretty bomb-proof bike that was get me through the day and I could get some miles in.
Yeah.
So that's what I ended up doing at mile 40 to 60. Horrible stomach cramps, and then they settled up around 60 miles, and then I found some broken soles that I
sharp
came home
pains,
with.
dull pains, or I gotta take a shit pain.
Sharp pains. Like
Really?
I haven't had those since like I started riding bikes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a pretty iron gut. Like I was the guy that would be pounding fluffer nutters. You know what those are?
I have no idea, but it sounds like pornography.
Yeah, I thought so too.
It does.
Yeah.
Isn't that guy off on the side?
Yeah. Cut.
That's the fluffer.
That's
Bring
the
the fluffer.
That's the fluffer. Anyway, so
You were a fluffer, weren't you?
Wrong trick. Well, I have to believe him
First
because
one's free.
The beer that he drinks at the end of crits.
Yeah.
That's Sterling.
That's gonna do it. It's gonna do it.
211.
That's coming back.
Irreversible
Yeah,
damage.
Yep. But anyway, like once I came back on, made it home, and called it a day. But
second half of that ride is worse than the first half. Wouldn't you agree? A lot of pavement in the first half.
a lot of pavement. Yeah, because once you get down, it's like once you get onto that highway, and that's kind of brutal because you got a little bit of a headwind and a slight uphill, and you get to an aid station, refuel, and then it's just kind of up and down, but gradually up,
Yeah.
and that's brutal.
I didn't refuel.
Headwind.
I never refueled.
You didn't refuel at all?
No, I didn't stop.
That would have killed me. I stopped twice.
Fondos make so much money off of me because I'm just like, I got my own stuff, I'm going.
Yeah.
And then I don't, because I'm paranoid about, anybody
See,
passing
my
me.
thought is like there's going to be more riders. And sure enough, like the riders that I left to stop at one of those, I caught them because they had bonked.
Yeah.
And so
That was me.
Yeah. So it's like one of those things where I was like, I would rather take the nutrition, and I was in such a bad spot that I needed to try to get away from the stomach cramps. But yeah, it was fun. I mean, it was a good event. I'm excited to do some more. It definitely showed me like, oh yeah, I don't have a high end right now.
Yeah.
I've got awesome base, and that's it.
Free plug for it's Vicious Cycles, I think is what they're called, and they put on a
Goldendale is next, I think.
Little simple. They
Goldendale.
put on some good ones. I've done the Ellensburg one. I've done this one. I've heard the Leavenworth and Winthrop ones are brutal. Yeah, and it's. Paul, I know you're shrugging your shoulders and you're just like going.
No, I was like anybody who wants to do that stupid shit, then go ahead.
It's just funny to me though because like
it's like a really long gravel road race.
It is. It's like, I mean, the
But you can
guys
stop for
who
cookies.
won The guys who won did it in like 4 hours and 15 minutes. That's well within your time of 5 hours and off the bike.
What's your top speed other than the downhill?
I averaged 17, and I was shelled.
Yeah.
I mean, I can guarantee you that those front guys averaged 20 plus.
Yeah, and do you think your bike choice and equipment choice? That was my question.
That was not my limiting factor. Because the guys
if you were in shape,
if I was in shape,
had to do it again, what bike, what gear? Because that's the discussion that I think you guys had last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What would you choose?
Yeah, I think that I would stick with the same. If I could have maybe a 2x, that would be better, just to have more gear options. Because when you're limited to a 1x, you really have to choose your cadence, and I don't like choosing my cadence.
I don't just want to bash gears. Yeah. I'm the same way, and my gravel bike is a 1x, and I regret every single moment of it.
Yeah.
Well, I sure hope Wout Van Aert heard that, because he ran a 1x at Milan San Remo.
Yeah,
but the simplicity of a 1x
but that's a road
is really
race,
nice.
and he's like he could be in a big meet for the whole time, kind of thing. Like
that particular race.
Yeah, I want Victor Kampenhart's style of a 1x. Big old gigantic dinner plate 62. On the front, and this magical hub that changes its mind whenever the wind blows or something like that. It'd be freaking cool.
I mean, like, I was able to spin at about up to 30 miles an hour at a comfortable cadence down to like the puppy paw.
Yeah.
So like 30.
I'm telling.
A guy, I'm not kidding you, came up to me because I was in the super tuck position going down a couple of the descents.
Yeah.
And he was like, you shouldn't be doing that. I'm like, I look over, I'm like,
you got mansplained in a Fondo?
I didn't realize the UCI was governing Grand Fondos now.
So first,
is there rules?
First question, were you wearing the pack filler kit?
No, it's in Portland.
Okay, then second of all, you should have looked at it and just gone, eat shit.
I made several enemies.
I'm out of F-bombs, so I can't say what I really would say to him, because I would have just been like, F your mom, dude.
Yeah, I mean,
I was the F up.
I was already kind of a jerk in the beginning, in the sense that there was a lot of your typical weekend warriors like attacking, and I was just like, I went to the front at one point. I'm like, so okay, who's ridden a bike here?
Yeah.
Who's ridden a bike in a group? Who has ridden in a cooperative group? No hands.
I'm training for my first Ironman.
Yeah, they're just, everyone is surging at, like, they go to the front and it's like, let's bump it up 75 watts. And I'm like, why are we gut punching each other? We're 20 miles in, and the group that's going to win is already 10 minutes up the road.
Yeah, gone. Yeah.
What are we doing here, guys?
I do want to say, just to close it out, I was with the first group until I flatted the first time. So anyway, David.
So when it was neutral.
Oh, that breaks my heart.
We dish it out here.
David, has the time seen pavement?
Twice. Yesterday and today.
Okay. Yesterday and today.
Well, I had I'm on this like 2 weeks straight. Yeah, it's like kind of 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Anyways,
you chose your profession, you dumbass.
That's why I'm trying not to complain. But I had an early day yesterday afternoon, so I got out for 30, and then I had a less early day today and got out for 20 right before this.
All right.
Yep.
And it rides?
And it rides. So I think the big difference is not like when you're cruising along and like just putting out normal power, it's when you stand up. That's all I'm noticing is that like the direct power transfer when you like stand up or you sprint is much higher than, but like when you're just going along like puppy pun and trying to like be steady and fast, it feels the same as my other bike.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes sense. Like the torsional stiffness of carbon fiber to aluminum is significant.
But the shift, oh man, the electronic shifting.
Oh,
it's good.
It's real good.
I don't need to know this.
It's real good.
And you're running SRAM Force?
SRAM Force, yeah.
I can't afford it.
You can.
Well, I bought you guys mic stands.
You've been through a lot. I think you should do this for yourself.
You know what? I should I should reward myself.
Yeah.
You should.
You know how I should reward myself? By paying the freaking hospital bills. Speaking of which, I did. I had the reset. Yeah, people were wanting to know. I can't believe you guys want to know about this shit. But yeah, I had the. It's not the paddles. It's not the the clear like you see on Chicago Med or anything like that. But it's
very similar.
It is very similar.
It's more like Mission Impossible, where you just like hold the wires.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
One of them's in his mouth.
Yeah. But that was the one that was supposed to be in my ass, so they mix it up. No, that's another movie.
This tastes funny.
Yeah, exactly. No, I went in. It took forever and a day, and it was. I guess I was actually knocked out for about 48 seconds
with the Michael Jackson juice.
Yeah, yep. And I was like, give me more. But no, they knocked me out. I woke up thinking it was 3 hours, and it was like, no, you've been asleep for like a minute. Like, wow. And I my left boob and my backside both were kind of burned. The nurse who shaved my chest did not do it in a caring way. It was.
Did you ask for a Batman figure? That would have been awesome. Can you just do like the Batman thing?
It was. Bless her heart. She was a wonderful woman. She's just like, I haven't done this in a while, and I'm like, okay. And she's when you take an electric razor and you press it to the skin with the blade facing, and you press really hard, and she's just like going, ah. She's like took an electric razor like a straight edge, and she's like going. And I'm looking at my wife. Who's in the room at the time, and I'm just going, honey,
can you do it, please?
Yeah, and it was so painful. And then we got to the operating room, and then the nurse there went,
"Let you do that." I would have been like, "No."
I was like, "Nah, I got this." Yeah, look at me. I can.
I do this all the time.
I'm a manscaper. Old sponsor mention.
Yeah, it is.
They should come back to us. And so I got to the room itself, and they were like, "Who shaved you?" And I went, not me. And they went, okay, we got to do it again. And my skin at that point was the color of Paul's sweater. It was like bright red. Well, and so I was like, yeah. And so they did it again. And then they stuck the paddle on there, which was adhesive based. And last thing I remember was my face got really warm, and then I woke up. And then I had itchy, burny stuff and my shirt sticks to me still. So apparently my chest hair is like a sandpaper. It's like a what's the fish? It's like where their teeth grow inward. It just grabs onto my shirt and doesn't let go.
It's probably like when you burn the hair, it kind of curls.
Yeah.
And whatever hair was left probably curled, and now your chest is like Velcro.
It just screamed. It just held on.
Does it do that when you take your shirt off?
It does. I've been walking around like this for the last 4 days, and it's this side only.
Nipple irritation.
My wife made some beautiful 40-year-old virgin references.
Good for her.
Landed on crickets with all the medical staff. I'm like, are you kidding me? You guys haven't heard any 40-year-old virgin jokes.
Wow.
At one point, when she was hurting me, bless her heart, wonderful woman, my wife went, Kelly Clarkson! And I went, that's good. If I wasn't crying right now, I'd laugh. And that just crickets the rest of the room. And nobody got it.
Everyone just like, you like Kelly Clarkson?
Yeah, it's like, come on. And so the everything went as good as it could be. I guess I got jolted once. And the word cardiomyopathy has come up, and it's a scary word, but it's a generic word that basically means you hurt yourself.
Heart no squeeze, good.
Yeah.
In layman's terms,
heart not squeeze good.
Me heart not squeeze good. And so, and ejection fraction, which David and I had a wonderful talk after the procedure about, because my
Did
doctor.
you bring it?
That what?
The tool.
Oh fuck! I knew there was something.
There's a word, Mom.
Mom, David swear.
But no, and so the ejection fraction is, I'll go into all this later. But anyway, my numbers are not good, but what it means is what?
I was just going to say,
or education first.
At some point, they might be able to read something of that nature.
Yeah. And so what I'm looking at, what I'm staring down the barrel of is I had an appointment with my cardiologist today, and the assessment is, and I hate these types of assessments. It's like, well, it's we're just gonna have to wait and see. It's gonna, it's how long do I have to be on beta blockers? Well, we're gonna have to. How about blood thinners? Well, it's and by the way, my cardiologist looks like Karsten Hagen, and I want to just bitch slap him the entire time. Love you, Karsten, but I'm just looking at him going, I can't take you seriously. You look like the diva. I've been told today that I am about 3 weeks off of losing the blood thinners, which is great. I am not off. I'm going to be off of the heart rate inhibitors, beta blockers. So I'm on them for a while, until everything gets back to normal. David, I will someday refer to you far more in terms of ongoing procedures and what's going to happen next. We're talking about a CAT scan of things, just to see how things are going. If the damage of the heart was caused by the AFib, which I'm 99% was caused, I went 6 weeks. It's like, think about hopping on the trainer and riding at 150 beats per minute for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
This is me trying to dumb it down for myself, and if I'm wrong, chime in.
That's
and so I'm assuming that there is some muscular damage there that needs to be fixed, but other than that, I'm feeling freaking great.
So were you kidding earlier when you said your watch was saying you were back in AFib?
Yes.
Don't do that to me.
Oh,
of course you were serious. I was like, oh man.
I have a tool.
David's in stress this entire time.
Yeah, he's just like, oh my God, I did that to him? Yeah. It's because he didn't know the street that I live on to get to the house. So, hey, so there we go. I'll just move on. Racing's happening in the region. Anybody going to hit the road other than Grand Fondos that you sign up for and don't attend to? You know what? It's because of the mustache. You have the mustache on, so you're opposite Sam.
Yeah,
it's just like when you're the evil version in the 1980s and 70s. Michael Knight on Knight Rider would have a bad version of himself, and it was just him with a goatee.
Yeah,
you're Nega Sam.
Nega Sam,
and Nega Sam shows up to races.
Yep.
Yeah. So is anybody going to do any near road races? I know that there's some stuff happening over on the other side of the state.
Near road? What do you mean? Anything outside of road racing?
No, road racing.
Yeah, I signed up. I got it. You're empty.
Oh.
I'm registered at Tour de Bloom.
But I mean before that.
Well, we have our Thursday night races started in April.
Okay.
No, I won't be doing anything until that's the first part of May.
What Thursday night races?
Badlands.
Oh, yeah, those ones. The Twilight Series. Yeah, okay. So you're not going to head over to the other side of the state?
Well, Tour de Bloom, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean like Mason Lake.
Not one day. I can't.
Yeah.
I can't afford.
Okay.
I mean that taxes the marriage type.
Well, that's a good question because there are a lot of stories of race director paranoia happening right now in the region where people are putting on these events, and I'm sure people all over who are listening to the show can relate to this. They hear of stories of social media posts by race directors complaining that they're putting on a race, registration numbers are low, they're going to cancel it. They start to freak out because they put on races in 1982 where everything was mailed in, and they're starting to freak out. And so what we're getting is, and correct me if I'm wrong, there's a cultural shift where we as bike racers know that we can sign up on site,
right,
or even up until the night before.
Yep,
and it is causing race directors to panic and or flat out cancel their events. Should participants, this is a generic question for all of you guys, should participants take initiative to sign up earlier to quit causing race director panic? We should almost call it like RPDO, race RDPD, race director panic disorder. I'm coming up with it right now. I'm coming up with it.
There's a lot of work for that.
It hurt. I must need a beer.
No, you could hit your head on there. Where it says duck your head.
Oh, mind your head. Mind your head.
I'll speak up real quick. I think I've always been a procrastinator when it comes to that because I don't know how it's going to play. But I'm in a position where my wife and I discussed what weekend I look at it. So I know that I will do RC3 for sure. I haven't registered. So to prevent this from happening, I can guarantee these things. So, I will register for RC3 here pretty soon. But then I am going to Masters Nationals too. That's something, down in Augusta, Georgia. So I'm hoping that the herd is really thin. So anyway, I looked in. They haven't given all the specs, but I've got air lane miles and stuff like that, and then get an Airbnb, go a week ahead. That type
Let's
of thing.
take this on a more generic mom and pop everyday Joe. Should cyclists commit earlier, or should race directors lighten the hell up? Meaning that, because let's be honest, if I don't know if I'm trying to think of my true adult years racing days, where little Jimmy might have a soccer tournament that I didn't know is happening, or my wife wants to travel to a certain area or something like that, and I might not register until the day before. That's a perk of modern day technology.
Yeah.
But race directors are putting a lot of money down.
Yeah,
they got volunteers, they've got permits, they've got swag, they've got all this kind of stuff happening. Is there a give and take here, or is it just race directors need to lighten the hell up?
I think I don't know that it's. I understand where they're coming from.
Yeah,
putting all the money out, but I don't think it's realistic to expect that the culture we live in is going to do it any other way. I mean, I have never been somebody who I'm always day of, or whatever the deadline is to not pay the additional fee.
Yeah,
that's their tool, is you make it slightly more expensive day of.
That's
and that's totally fair. I think that's a fair thing to do, is to say, hey, if you want to gamble and you're not sure if you're going to go, you have to pay $15 extra, but if you can commit now, you can save $15. But I don't think it's realistic in the world we live in, because life is busy, things get in the way, things come up, and people don't go to races.
I said,
yeah. Great segue. But I pay for said races.
Yeah, you did. You did.
You're a patron of the sport.
You are.
I
the Godfather.
Yeah, this is.
Hey, I'll pay for your race. Oh, I can't do Eddie's voice.
No.
Yeah. Don't want to pull back the curtain.
Yeah.
Trademark. I have to agree with David in that, it would be a lot to expect that the culture is going to shift with that, and I do think that that is so fair that they cost extra, and it's a motivator for me, because I look at the stage races and it's some of those are a $50 or $75 swing.
Yeah,
if you sign up early versus if you sign up right before it.
Yeah.
So I think that's totally fair. It would be nice if people would sign up earlier, because that's a lot of stress. You put out a lot of money, and if you're not committing to that, you go into the day just I don't know if I'm gonna lose $1,000 tonight, or if I'm gonna be able to walk away with $1,000 in my pocket.
I'm sure they all have a minimum. We got to hit this number in order to make our nut.
Totally,
but. You can't.
I get where they're coming from, because it's a lot of these guys. I knew Eric Anderson well, that was promoting all the West Side, and that was his livelihood.
Yeah,
was these races, and so to not have people sign up was pretty shitty.
Yeah.
Let me ask you: you're promoting 24 Hours in Riverside.
We are. Yeah.
So what as a promoter, what would you like to see? Knowing what you do know now.
It's interesting. We're in year 2 of it, and we are barely ahead of where we were last year. And we thought
numbers.
Yeah, and we thought last year was a start year, just start fresh. So we expected to be double where we are now. So yeah, we're not where we want to be. We blame that on word of mouth. We blame that on our own marketing, and we're trying. It's funny that here I am sitting on a podcast, not saying 24hoursofriverside.com. But
what was that again?
24hoursofriverside.com.
Oh,
didn't hear that. Yeah.
And what's that about?
Yeah, exactly. Well, let me tell you, Jimmy. But it is stressful. But I'm not going into this terrified of making my house payment. This is something that my co-race director and I are doing because, yeah, we would love to make some money at it, but we also, it's what we do, it's bike racing, and I want to continue to go. I want to build promotion. I want to build races. I want to put on a downtown crit. I do. I'm terrified to pull that trigger, but I want to do these things. And if I walk away with enough to sit down and have a pint after it's over and all my bills are paid, sweet. Yeah. But would I love to walk away with, $10,000 in my pocket? That'd be pretty nice. But so I understand that, but I just think that the dynamic of the average cyclist now is I don't have to sign up until day of. But yep. Paul, correct me if I'm wrong. Do you remember going to races in our youth, getting there at least an hour early because you had to get in line to register?
Yeah, but I think most of the big races, I signed up because we used to get, back in the day, we had the flyers would come. Then it was USCF.
Yeah.
You could get the mailing list of it in that area, and you promote. You get these one-page flyers and I'm like, they had a deadline.
Yeah.
And I want to make, especially back then, there was a field limit, and sometimes you didn't make it because you didn't get it's kind of like going on a lottery for Leadville or something like that. You had to. I mean, there was 75 people in this field, and if you delay, you may not get in there. So I think there's that pressure to register early was one factor. Two, the times have changed, like David was saying. I mean, we're in a day like, what's the big deal? I mean, I can just click and I'm done. Before we had to send a check. Hopefully it clears because and
hopefully the postal service gets it there in time.
Exactly.
And all these times there's a postmark date.
Yep.
Now,
that's wild.
But yeah, well, it's freaking horrible. And now we're at the point where race directors' costs have gone up, especially if you're doing a road race. I mean, you've got so many things that you've got to take care of.
Oh, man.
It's I can understand the stress. I can really understand the stress, but I can also understand that you've got two completely different dynamics of people: the people who are signing up for the race and the people who are putting on the race. Yep. And one's going to wait to the last minute, and the other one wants you to do it today.
Real shortly, this year was kind of a situation where I wanted to change me personally, and one of the things was in the world of canceling.
Yeah,
I wanted to promote. So there's different companies that are involved with cycling that I've given money to, as promoting, as opposed to like, oh, I don't like what you say, I'm not going to listen to you and tell everybody else. I don't want to do that anymore. And for those things like bike racing, I'm going to make an effort to go ahead and do more a positive thing and make them feel better about it, as opposed to everything's negative in this world. So that's just how I'm approaching this year, because to be honest with you, I always waited to the last minute.
Did you?
And I don't want to do that anymore. Yeah, because I don't think it's fair to the promoters, and I think it also, I mean, you go on and you look at, you can go on who registered, and even at Turtle Bloom Drink.
Oh. Yeah.
The numbers are pretty low for right
David,
now.
you got to drink every time Paul says that.
I say it a lot.
Yeah. Or if we say the name of Roger Thompson.
Oh, drink.
Wait, what was the first one?
Got to keep up, sunshine.
It's
what was the what? What was the what?
What are we doing?
What game are we playing?
So anyway,
and I think that if this is anything, this is a call to action to the people who are convinced and comfortable in the fact that they know they're attending an event.
Yeah,
sign up early, get in there. Either get the early discount, or just do it for the peace of mind of the poor race director who's trying to cover his nut.
So, just to use, we had a Gran Fondo situation. It's a lot easier to put on Gran Fondos because you just get road closures. Bang, that's it.
It's not even road closures. They're like
it isn't.
Yeah,
they're open
yeah.
roads.
They're open roads.
But you still have to have permission, right? You can't just throw people out on the road.
Kind of just tell people that
This
they're
is
going.
what's gonna happen.
Honestly, yeah. There was no police out there. There was nothing. And they told us in the beginning, this is not a race. The roads are open.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You should have seen everybody just foaming at the mouth. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, the car before neutral.
Stop
everyone's
sign
like,
my
yeah,
ass!
Exactly.
Yeah. Oh god.
So that's where, to make people understand what promoters are going through, because they've got a lot invested and they have to tell the community, oh, we're not going to have this race, or this race is on, or it's going to be shut down. These roads are going to be shut down in this period, or I guess only one category is going to race. So it's a stress on their side.
It's a nightmare. Mm-hmm. It's a nightmare. Let me ask you guys this one: How willing are you to volunteer to help a race happen? Be honest. Be honest.
More than happy if they'll pay my entry. Used to do it all the time.
Okay.
Back in the day.
But how do you volunteer for a race if it's already underway?
So that was it was morning and afternoon shifts.
Sure.
So for me being 1-2, I would just have to be there at 8 a.m. to help with the,
Signage.
4-5 and all that. So yeah.
Okay.
Honestly,
you could be
David's
honest.
a doctor. He's I'll pay twice if I don't have to be here until I line up.
There was a time, yes, and now with the limited amount of time I have, I don't think I'd do it. I just can't. I don't have enough.
For me,
I'd be happy to make it to one big race this year outside of the Spokane races.
Sure.
But I mean, for me, it's that would be a way that I could give back.
Yeah.
So that's why I would do it.
Paul,
I'm terrible. I used to volunteer all the time, and CP and I talked about it on the ride.
Yeah.
It's just 35 years of doing being some part of promoting some race. It exhausts you. And,
it does.
Yeah. And there's always people who say, I will be there. And they don't show up. And then you're pulling a double shift.
Yeah.
And so there's times where I wasn't able to race because I volunteered. I was supposed to race, but they needed somebody. And of course I raised my hand. Yeah. And it's okay, I won't, I will in certain situations. I certainly will. I mean, yeah.
I enjoy the 24 hours of Riverside volunteer thing, the way that's set up. I mean,
we incorporate it. It's mandatory as part of each team has to provide.
Where can I get
volunteer.
that information?
It's
I mean, that's the race. Teams have to, supply a race. It's a team should have to supply a volunteer.
Don't get me started on that. That is the biggest mistake USA Cycling has ever made, is canceling the fact that clubs had to put on a race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if it was a small Thursday night training race, barely got road closures in an industrial park, crit, completely contained. We did it once. We got it done. It's still a race.
Yeah.
Biggest mistake USA Cycling's ever made.
Yeah.
Other than the whole Skittles sponsors thing. That was weird. That was a weird time. Let's jump to the news, shall we? We got a lot to cover in terms of the news, you guys. Brought to us tonight by our friends at Wahoo Fitness. That's right. The masters of training are here to help you prepare, log, and improve your riding. Yeah, prove. Click the link at packfiller.com and tell them we sent you. First off, Milan Sanremo, you guys. First official monument of the 2023 season ran last weekend, with the fireworks once again paying off with a massive 280-kilometer promenade. Does you say promenade? I'd say promenade. Leading up to the final climbs that proved the testing ground for the attackers. The victory came on the hands of a massive attack by the one and only Mathieu van der Poel, flying up the stretches of the Poggio at, get this, over 24 miles an hour. He was going up that climb so fast.
That's stupid.
Some person had a cell phone alongside the climb, standing on the side of the road, and you see how fast he was going up that climb. It was unbelievable.
Do we know the grade on that?
Its average is a 3.9.
Yeah.
They have to brake on the hairpins going uphill.
Yeah. Yeah, they do. Yeah.
Which, Tade.
Yeah. Before we begin talking about this race, can I ask who picked the winner? Was it anybody at this? Oh, that's right. It was me. I picked a winner,
I wasn't
and
here. I was in Maui.
I want it to be said that Pat Bulger picked a winner. You didn't know.
Curse is broken.
You don't get to say I was in Maui.
I was in Maui.
Now I'm gonna go back to just filling out my forms. Duck you. Yeah, exactly.
Mom.
Anybody have any reflections on the race? How it went from this race has gone from an attacker's race over history to a sprinter's race for a very short amount of time. Gee, I wonder why. To an attacker's race again. So talk to me about how Milan Sanremo has evolved, how it has evolved back to where it was, so devolved, and what you guys thought of this year's edition. For those who saw it.
I watched it, and I've watched it for many,
did you
many
watch
years.
Did you watch from kilometer one?
No, I did not. I went over to CP's, and I
By
rolled
the way,
over and had it
CP's got to have just a chubby from how many times he's been mentioned during it.
Oh yeah, he should. Yeah,
And
he won't
will,
hear it
yeah.
for another 2 weeks
No,
because
and
he waits until he has a chance to listen to it while he's on it doing his lifting.
No.
So that's when he usually listens to it.
So he'll text me.
Yeah.
Just like
Not
Jack.
like Jack's.
Yeah,
Jacks are like cryptic.
Yeah, well,
messages.
Jack is more of like a
Typo.
Tourette's-based texting.
Typo.
when he just texts
Nightmare.
during the show. He's just like,
Yeah.
eat shit! And you're like, well, why? What did I do? Always listening to the show.
And you
Yeah.
can kind of follow along with
Yeah.
where he's at.
Paul.
Well, so I thought it was interesting. They didn't. Typically, they've always let a break, with no names, go up, and they usually get a good 10, 15 minutes, and it's reeled in. And they never got more than 3 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it created a completely. So going up to Cipressa was. I think that's where UAE, in my opinion, was their chance of thinning things out, but it was a massive headwind.
Yeah.
Going up there, so it changed they didn't hardly drop anybody, but Arnaud Delis, which was one of my picks. But outside of that,
we won't talk about
that.
that. Yeah.
So anyway, how many people entered the Poggio was like massive, and so it had to alter. It was pretty exciting stuff, but I think the big thing for me to take away is Ghana. That guy was amazing, and I heard Luke Rowe say,
"You do."
I hate him
because he's a good TT and he's strong and he's a monster.
But here's the
And he's
other
an
thing
attractive
is
guy,
that
which just pisses me off.
It just
Top
makes
Ghana.
me mad.
His nickname is Top Ghana. How do you not
love him?
Yeah.
he wheel sucks the entire time, and then he has some sprint at the end. I'm like, dude, you just sprinted for second. Slow clap.
Oh, wow.
Who cares? I don't know. My thought is Tade and Wout were both let's try to get this, and Ghana's like, oh, I can't pull through. But then all of a sudden he has a miraculous sprint at the end. He pulled hard at the end for that sprint.
I think he was instructed. I'm going to go off what Luke Rowe said. So he was actually surprised that he was there. His teammate. And he said that
all I know is there's blood.
They were
in the
talking
water.
to him afterwards.
I hate him.
There's blood.
I'm not even gonna.
There's blood in the water.
I'll never be on this
and
podcast
listeners are going to come
because of
after
this,
your
and I'm
ass.
okay with that.
Yeah, no, Filippo,
But he was waiting for when Mathieu attacked. You could tell Wout was not on his game.
Yeah,
he was not 100%. So he was really expecting Tade to make that jump because he's a climber.
Yeah,
and to me that's a smart. And he goes, I was surprised that he didn't go. Then it was too late. And he goes, I should have gone with him. And Luke Rowe says, could you? And he goes, yeah. He had diamonds in his legs. He said, my legs were. I was surprised on that hill that I was still with these guys.
Yeah.
And all I could do was just because this is not my territory. And I think I would believe the same way. I mean, being Ghana, that's how I would do it. But I think.
Yeah, but then he gets down to the flats and he's still just skipping turns and wheel sucking.
There's the impressive part. 3 of the top TT guys in the World Tour, Tadej Pogacar, and Ghana, and also Wout, they couldn't bring him in.
Yeah, but the cohesiveness of the group was not there, and it was because Ghana is I'm going to wheel suck this. And if I'm a World Tour rider, I'm like, well, I'm not pulling you up there. I mean, they were all boxed. They were all absolutely on their limit. But if Ghana was there to help, I have a hard time believing that Van der Poel would have stayed away.
Well, I think he didn't lose any time going down the hill. What is it, about 3 kilometers or maybe, to the finish, and he had 6 seconds. It would have been very close if they all got together.
Totally.
But that is the advantage of being on a breakaway. If you roll the dice, you can eat crap, and then you're relying on these guys bickering, which they did.
But Wout and Tade were both in agreement with like, okay, let's work together. And Ghana was the one throwing the. That's why I'm just like, no, Ghana, no.
Yet he got second
because he's a wheel sucker. And in my terms,
but it worked. Bitch. Oh, you heard it first. Sam Waples, everybody. Just called Filippo Ghana a bitch.
Yep. You could text me personally.
Wow. Yeah. Well, we're going to give you his phone number.
Yeah.
Because you know what? You know who the contact for the show is? Some poor bastard with a stress-induced heart failure.
Yeah. Way to go.
I hope this turns into something.
You're going to kill me.
Yeah. Where like just like when Phil Guyman was talking trash about Cancellara and Cancellara was sticking lures on him and stuff. Hopefully.
Yeah.
They come after you.
Yeah.
That would be great. Yeah.
There we go. And how about the fact that a grandpappy and a grandbaby have both won this race?
That's pretty cool.
That was pretty cool. You gotta admit.
I mean, Vanderpool earned it. Like he crushed it. I'm not taking anything away from him.
You're just taking.
I'm just taking away from Ghana.
Okay.
Ghana is continue.
Okay.
Doesn't like Top Ghana.
He doesn't, which is the ultimate.
There's only
irony.
one Maverick out there.
There's only one irony. Yeah, exactly. So okay. How would you guys rank this in terms of Milan San Remos? And how do you? Am I the only one that's really enjoying the fact that it's back to an attacker's race and not a sprinter's race?
Mm-hmm.
I like them both.
I thoroughly.
I like them both.
You did.
I thoroughly. I mean, it's a great race, but I will. I think I started at like 100K left, and then I was like skipping forward every like probably 15 minutes, 20K. Until it was like down to 30K, and I watched the last.
This race would not be a challenge were it not just shy of 300K.
It's a phenomenal race, but I really don't need to see the first part of it.
It is 100% about fatigue at this point in time.
Totally.
That's why you can't change the route.
Yeah.
It's got to stay that way.
Because there is no rider in the Pro Peloton who probably couldn't make it over those climbs.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they say it's the easiest to finish and the hardest to win.
Yeah.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's what makes it a monument. It's unique.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Anybody watching Catalunya?
I have, but it starts later for me, so I'm at work before I finish, so I have to do the highlights.
Okay. I've been watching it because it is at work and my first period's free.
Roglic?
Yeah, it is right now. It is right now. The guy's got a sprint, man. The guy's his uphill sprint has become quite impressive.
He's won
and he's
a lot of races. He's five wins.
Yeah,
5 stages.
I'm excited to see him this year.
Yeah, which leads us into the fact that Alan Piper will not be a member of the UAE team director staff this year. Because of apparently there was some situations where Alan Piper was, for those of you who aren't up to speed, this is the Packfiller podcast. Sorry I started late. Alan Piper obviously helped lead Tade to his first Grand Tour win.
First two.
Mm-hmm. And then last year he was not in the car. And it was due to health reasons, yeah. And so there have been negotiations to get him back into that position, and they have fallen short. So Alan Piper will not be in the director's car during the season for Tadej Pogačar. So do we consider this a major performance unenhancer in terms of, I mean, does the race director really provide that much in terms of how a rider is going to perform at this level?
I don't know how they answer this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they make a massive difference. If you look at like a lot of the tour winners in the past, they've had the same director throughout that spree. Chris Froome. I cannot remember the director's name right now, but
David Brailsford.
Yeah,
Sir
David. But yeah, anyway, like I think that means a lot.
Yeah.
Because I think that's a big shift in management too. And they know, like, he knows Tade. He knows how he rides. He knows when he performs well, and he can give him the cues on when to go, when not to go, all that.
Yeah.
I think Alan Piper is he's a strategic genius, and I think last year stage 11 was something that they lacked.
Yeah.
They got the personnel right now, and Tade is just a monster, and he could probably do it on his own. That I don't think that lessens his chances, but if strategy comes to blows, that's something that I see Alan Piper, in my opinion, could have picked that apart and say, oh no, we got to stop this, we got to do this.
Yeah.
Doing that, I mean, he is a crafty guy. So it's unfortunate for Tade, but I still think he's probably going to win the Tour anyway.
Yeah.
Especially with Tim Wellens.
Yeah, that was a good pickup.
Yeah.
Milan San Remo and him. That was nutty.
Yeah.
How many watts was that guy holding up?
Yeah. Okay. We gotta keep moving the show along. Gent Wevelgem and E3 Harelbeke. No, Saxo Classic now.
Yeah,
E3
but
Saxo
Harelbeke,
Classic.
I think it still ends.
So we got two races, and I was the one who thought that this was Flanders weekend. I guess I was wishing my life away. E3, Paul, you were saying is you were trying to describe the race itself in terms of
it's a mini Flanders.
Yeah,
it does pretty much a lot of the same hills as Flanders. If you look at the start list on E3, that's almost the same that you'll see at Flanders a week and 2 days.
And then Ghent is definitely one that is not going to have those styled racers. Ghent is going to be more
a little
of a
more
Sprinters
flat.
Classic.
Yeah, they have the Camelberg that they go up that kind of breaks things up, but yeah, and there's some cobbles, and they have, I think they call them plug streets, which are kind of gravel sections that takes the course now because it's kind of to commemorate World War I, and that plug streets actually goes through where, if anybody's seen the Silence of the Christmas in 1914, Noel something, Jules Noel.
I thought you were talking
Unlike
Silence of the
you, I was
Lambs.
not alive then.
Well, it was when the French and the Germans on Christmas Eve put aside truce and they played soccer out in the middle of no man's land.
That's actually a cool story.
Yeah, it's actually a great movie if you get to see it.
It's a good movie, yeah.
And it's a true story. So they actually take it through there. It is very cool.
How
story.
large is Flanders Fields? Would you say if you could pick a radius, if off the top of your head,
know.
would you know?
I probably
20-mile radius, 30-mile radius.
Yeah, probably around there.
Yeah.
So it starts in Ypres, and then the Menengate, where all the soldiers used to cross. They knew they're going to die. This is the new recruits had to go in there, and that's in Ypres.
Wow.
And then that's where they start the race. It's to honor World War II veterans and the war itself.
They walked through this knowing they were going to die?
Yeah, the World War I. Yeah, it was a bloody mess. So a lot of them knew that they weren't coming back, and that's where that was a point of going into war.
I have several jokes I'm going to make, but I'm not going to make them because that would be really, really shitty.
Would be.
The Great War.
So we have E3 as this mini Flanders, and the rule is pick 3 riders, and I'm picking 3 riders who I think are not necessarily going to show their cards. Who are going to show their cards early, because I don't think the big Flanders guys are going to show their cards. I don't know why. I just feel like it's like if you go in to win, if you win E3, what are the chances you're going to go in and win Flanders? I don't know why. I think they're going to be just like,
if you win Cyclocross Worlds, what are the chances that you're going to win the first monument?
Shut up. Shut up. I want non-mustache Sam back. I'm picking Alberto Bettiol from EF Education. I'm picking Michał Kwiatkowski from Ineos Grenadiers, and I'm picking Mads Pedersen because I apparently have a crush on Mads Pedersen.
Wout van Aert, Julian Alaphilippe, and Matteo Van der Poel.
Yeah, that's such a cop out of a pick.
I've been picking Matteo Jorgensen the entire time, and he was not available, so I couldn't.
You're not venturing out. You're just going with the safe 3.
Where is Nielsen Paulus?
Not in the classics. He's at Catalunya right now.
So they like saving him for the tour.
He?
I don't know, but he was.
I keep thinking of Sepp Kuss. Sepp Kuss is at Catalunya.
Yeah.
No,
Nelson Paulus was at Milan San Remo.
Yeah.
He was in the top 10.
Yeah, I know.
But
That's what I'm saying. Like, I want an American winning a monument.
I don't know. Is he in Ghent?
No.
He's on either one?
No.
I don't see him.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't know his program. Don't know.
Nope. There we go.
If you can reach out, Nielsen Palace, and let us know what your racing program is.
Talk to me,
wonderful.
Goose.
Yep.
Talk to me, Goose.
I picked Wout, Van der Poel, and then my long shot is Magnus Sheffield, the American.
Mate.
And the reason why is because people do show their colors there, because Tom Boonen has won it 5 times. There's a lot of people that have won that.
I'm sticking with
you want
my
to
gut. I'm sticking with my gut.
All right,
David.
Okay,
He's like, I'm not used to this picking
why,
shit.
But I gotta ask, why does nobody pick Pogacar?
You can.
yeah.
But
You
like,
can
why
pick him.
didn't? I mean, I'm not gonna be. I'm not gonna pretend that you guys don't know a lot more than me here. Why wouldn't you guys pick him for this?
I'm just tired of
I
picking
don't know,
him.
David. Why
but
would you pick him?
I know it's getting exhausting, but like, he's kind
go
of
ahead.
unstoppable.
Pick him.
I
Be
think
cool.
this is my
whatever.
opinion. I actually have them marked down and I scratched them off.
I'm curious. That's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
curious why you scratched him
because
off.
I think
He
I'm just
seems
basing it off of,
unstoppable.
he is, but he started off pretty good. I think he looked a little bit weak this last Sunday or Saturday, excuse me. And then I think that he has to gradually scratch his way up because his next goal is Tour de Flanders. So I think he'll be there, but I don't know if he's going to.
No, you can pick him. We won't judge you at all.
And in fact, he'll probably be right.
First of all, number one, I'm picking Peter Sagan. This is getting harder and harder
Who's
for me.
won it three times?
This is getting harder and harder for me to do the more I watch these races. But I'm picking Peter Sagan and then Pogacar and Van Wout.
Oh, okay.
In that order.
I thought you were picking from 1998.
What?
Wait, are you picking Van Wout or Van Aert?
Van Wout?
Wout Van Aert.
Wout Van Aert.
Van Wout Art.
Wout Van Aert.
No. Drink.
I keep thinking of Matt Stevens. So I'd like to make a team with the
Notice
Wouts.
that nobody
the
there chose Filippo Ganna.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Well, you have.
I'm waiting for Paris-Roubaix.
Good
Ghent Wevelgem.
Real sucker.
Women. I'm picking Ghent Wevelgem. I'm picking Elisa Longo-Borghini. I'm picking Lorena Wiebes, and I'm picking Zoe Backstedt because I think Zoe's gonna do it.
I guess, go ahead.
Elise Balsamo.
Elise Balsamo?
Mm-hmm. Is it Rachel or Rochelle?
I don't know.
For Liv Barbieri. And
Sure.
then the other one,
I don't think
that
she's
I'm
going to be
vote-
upset.
Yeah, the other one
Miss
that
Bergen.
I'm going to really vote for, just because, once again, American, Chloe Dygert.
Chloe.
Yeah. And she's making a return. She's had like another surgery over the winter, and so
Oh God, I keep forgetting to switch cameras. Jackson, you need to be here. I'm switching cameras. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
go America.
Balsamo is one, and then I picked 2 Team SD Works because you can't go wrong.
Yeah. That team is crushing it.
Kopecky, who still I think has form, and Weebus, who's been winning also. So there you go.
Yeah. David is.
I don't even have
his
an
head
educated
is spinning. You know that's okay. You don't
Because
have to-
somebody apparently
Pick Chloe.
interrupted his
You've
nap.
raced against her.
That's fair.
Did she dust your
she
ass?
win?
She beat us.
Did she really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
Oh,
was
I bet.
that?
Yeah.
That was over at Squim.
Oh yeah. All right.
It
pick
It was when
Chloe.
she was wearing a
Pick
World's jersey too.
Really?
She was way faster.
Oh yeah, and you know what? That was the funny thing on the other show I do with the Cycling Legends people. One of the co-hosts was saying, "Yeah, you know, I was talking to this guy at this bike shop who was saying, you know what? I bet I'm a cat too. I'm a strong, fast cat too. I bet I could keep up with the world. No, dude,
Dude, no.
you can't.
I've ridden with like
No
multiple
way. No.
World Tour women.
Yeah.
They're way faster.
Oh yeah.
But I'll still talk trash till the day I die.
Yeah. Well,
I could beat Chloe.
Yeah.
Come on, Chloe.
Yeah. Come on, let's do this. Yeah. Ghent Wevelgem and Flanders Field. I'm picking Biniam Girmay to repeat. I'm picking Tim Merlier. I fuck up his name every time. Oh, I went over my quota.
That's for.
And I'm picking Jasper Stuyven.
Jasper.
From Trek. Jasper Stuyven from Trek Fredo. Look.
I'm gonna go with Wout. I'm gonna go with Alberto. Wish that Nielsen Palace was in this.
Alberto.
Bettiol.
Oh.
Just EF.
Yeah.
love to see them. They're and then UAE. I want Tim Wellens. Guy's a unit.
Yeah.
I've got Gamai like you. I have Wellens like you, and then I'm taking my boy Arnaud Dely.
Yeah,
he just can't position himself, but he's got a motor.
You're holding a little torch for him.
It's going to happen.
Holding a little torch for him. Okay. Jackson is probably watching the YouTube right now going, Dad, switch the damn cameras.
And he's like, pick a good choice.
Yeah, Jackson is in charge of the video segment of the show, and you can tell how shitty it is. Anyway, David.
This one's for Jackson. Number 1, Peter Sagan.
You are dreaming.
God, you are never going to be right.
I know.
He's won it many times.
Although that's a race he could win.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would love to see it.
These two, I honestly can't keep them apart in my head because Avermaet and
Vanderpool.
No, Van Aert and their names are almost insane.
It's a Belgian thing. Van.
Are you just like seeing cross-eyed?
You got to remember Greg Van Avermaet.
Van Avermaet.
He's 36, and he's been around, and he's won Paris-Roubaix.
So any name with a Van in front of it is the Belgian version of the Irish name with an O in front of it.
O'Brien O'Neill.
Yeah.
O'Garrity.
Of the.
Does Van mean anything?
Probably
means Belgian.
Yeah. Means Belgian.
Or Dutch.
Or Dutch. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, wow.
I do like the Belgians.
Yeah, me too.
Before we get to our... Oh, my God, even with a late start, we're cruising along. We never even got to the topic, and the topic tonight is I want to talk about the importance of Strava and the justification of the price jump. I have to... I screen grabbed my most recent... Wow, I can hear the air. Dear Patrick, your subscription doesn't just unlock Strava's best features. It helps... I got to switch cameras. It helps build the world's #1 fitness community. Thank you! From segment leaderboards and training insights to route discovery and enhanced 3D maps of FatMap. So, starting September 15th, 2023, my price, Patrick Bolger's price, is going to increase $79.99 per year based on the subscription price in the United States. They're going to apparently send me a 30-day notice before the change. So Strava is going up. Somebody remind me, apparently because I'm hemorrhaging funds, how much Strava currently costs for the membership price.
Don't ask him.
Does anybody know?
I think mine was 60 or 65, right?
No, I don't even remember being that. Yeah, I remember like 50. I remember $49.99. So what numbers pop?
We're probably looking around low to mid 50s.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're jumping $20 a year. Talk to me about the magnitude of this. Is this a death stroke for Strava? Is Strava necessary in our current society? Because I remember going out in the days where you didn't tell people how much you were training because you wanted to be strong at a start line and you wanted it to be a secret.
Yeah.
Now we're showing up and everybody's dick measuring because they've been doing it every single day for their entire lives, and we're shallow assholes because of it. Sorry, did I say that out loud?
Yeah.
Yeah,
you did.
Felt good.
Man, I will not be like, and I
you will
was
not be renewing.
Nope, neither will my wife. We were both on that. So
$30 a year.
Yeah, we were spending $100.
As Sarah McLachlan would say, that's the price of a cup of coffee to save an animal.
Yep.
So you're not going to do it.
No.
Screw the dogs.
There's a point in which I'm like, I was already questioning, like, is this really necessary for me? And like, you can get everything else you want for free. Ride GPS. I can map out my own rides.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
And just upload that fit file. I don't really care what the leaderboard is. If I'm outside of the top 10, I'm clearly not trying hard enough. Because you get the top 10 for free.
Yeah.
So just go harder.
So we all.
That's the motivation.
There we go.
Yeah, but
Jesus, I like your mentality.
Yeah,
I honestly do, even though I'll never achieve it.
Yeah,
the
right.
Only smart thing you said.
I love that David's mic is easier to hear.
I know.
He's got
That
deep
wouldn't have been
bass
heard in
too.
the past.
Is anybody noticing the deep velvet?
I've been whispering these things for weeks.
Yeah. I know. Now people get an insight into my life. It's like I hear this voice in the back of my head, and that's David.
Yeah. You're stupid and tall.
This is it. But I hear it.
I hear it again. That voice.
I hear it from behind me mostly because he's drafting me.
Yeah.
Oh, please.
So,
yeah.
Anyway.
And then he attacks. When you hear that voice, you're stupid and tall. And then he attacks you.
Yep.
You're stupid and tall. Thanks for the draft.
Right away.
Yeah.
Bitch.
But yeah, I just think they don't do enough to warrant being more money. Like for what they.
But they have been adding. I mean, I'm devil's advocating here.
Sure. But totally. Yeah. But I mean, like, what do you need? This is all an online thing. I mean, if you're paying for like that amount of web space or whatever, I can't remember what that's divided up into. But if you're paying for that amount of space, great, right? And if that's maybe increasing, gosh, that should be like a couple of dollars a person. This is worldwide that they are having that much money come in.
If they want to add features and increase the price, there should be 2 tiers.
Yeah.
I agree.
I don't think that, like, I don't want whatever it is they're adding.
No.
The things that I wanted, I was willing to pay $60 for. I'm not willing to pay $80 for whatever it is that they've added.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent thing. You know, this is coming from a guy who just does it for free because that's what I started.
Because he's
and
top
I've
10
always
and
done
everything.
that.
Yeah.
No, it's one of those things that, for me, all those added features, I never thought, God, you know, I might want to do that.
Yeah.
You know. But for the sake that, when I mentioned earlier, putting money into what I believe, I think it is a good thing. Whether it warrants that price or not, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I know that if I pay that $80, I'm just going to use the same.
You can
I
use
could get
the same
for free.
thing you've been
I have
using.
no.
Yeah.
I don't care of looking at the 3D. I don't care about, all these different clubs and challenges they could be a part of. I never, ever, in anything. So if they had a different tier, like, okay, I'd be willing to pay for my free, but with a little bit of bonus. Okay, here's the deal. You can get, like, most travel when I, go down to, like, Palm Desert, most traveled rides.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I would pay for that. But I don't care
route
about
planning.
The heat map.
Right,
GPS
GPS does that.
Yeah,
route
yeah.
planning.
But I would pay for it because I don't want to. I don't want to have several different apps on my phone for trying to do the same thing.
Yeah,
cycling apps. Okay, I plan my route here, and then I'm going to record here, and I don't want that. But I think what David said is brilliant. If they just had a $30 one that, like, age group,
bonehead.
Simple stuff. Then I'd be willing to do that. But I don't want to pay for. That's like paying for full cable and watching. There's usually about 3 networks I actually watch or stations or whatever.
Yeah.
So
porn.
Yeah.
And
pretty much
Discovery Channel.
And then bikes.
And YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
See, now the funny thing is I just this month paid $100 for the Escape Collective because it is a group of great journalists.
Yep.
They're doing good things. That is more than a Strava account for the year. Why did I do that over?
Because you see the value.
Do I?
Well, hopefully, or you want to support whatever it is that they're doing.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is exactly right.
I mean, let's be honest. If I was a cutthroat jackass, I would say these guys are doing podcasts. They're a competitor to me. Yeah, I would because we're all competing for clicks and likes and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I look at what the Escape Collective guys are doing in terms of and I'm also on another pay for podcast site with Cycling Legends,
which I also purchased.
Yeah, but I think these are all great sources and great methods, and that was going to be my final question for the night: where we find our cycling information and our media. I believe in what the guys at Escape Collective are doing, collective, are doing. But I also believe in Strava. But I just spent $20 more than a year of Strava would be for something in essence I didn't really need to pay for. Why
Why
am I seeing one is better than the other?
Yeah, I don't know. For me, it's the fact that like Strava hasn't really changed that much. They have this new fat map, which it's 3D now.
It's just a picture of me.
Congrats! Oh my gosh, yeah, that's hilarious.
Climb the mountain.
Yeah.
Quit following me.
I mean, we could make jokes off this because it does. It's a 3D map that shows more lumps and things.
There goes Patrick. Boom.
Yeah.
Boom.
Quit it.
Yeah. But no, it's like that's their big. That was their selling point. It was like, well, we are now coming out with this fat map. I'm like, congrats.
Yeah.
You took something from Google.
Yeah.
Google is doing this
Free.
for free.
Yeah.
You are just putting it into your system and showing where I biked. That's not impressive. So for me, it's like, it's just not one of those things where I'm like, one person could be doing this from a computer. Why are we spending $20 more?
Yeah.
You know?
I don't know the status of the free version. Does anybody know if it's going to stick around?
It's
I haven't got any. I haven't got an email.
I already went
You
down
haven't
to
got
a
an
free.
No.
You what?
Yeah, I already went down to free. I canceled my subscription. Mm-hmm.
David, are you pay?
Well, mine was locked in like September of last year at whatever the old price was. So I'm just gonna in September
Ride it.
Yeah, I'll use it till September.
I'll do the same thing.
Yeah.
I think I will until it's dead, and then I got to remember to do it.
Like you're paying for journalists and stuff like that are doing research and having to sit down and write stuff out. Like I see
you don't think there are people at Strava?
Work.
You don't think there are people at Strava doing work?
Well, I'm sure they
I mean, I'm sure that there's people that are sitting down and writing algorithms, but I would.
They keep getting laid off.
Mm.
Seriously, they've been slashing their staff.
They haven't been making money.
Yeah,
and so that's part of the problem. They have to find a way to make money.
Yeah,
and subscription,
they could be paying so much more money for ads and stuff that it wouldn't be coming from us. It's the same issue that I have with USAC.
I don't want ads. I don't want ads on my Strava.
And so that's this balance, right? The balance is Escape Collective. Pat and I paid $100. Good journalism. They're a great bunch of guys, and I also want to thwart outside corporation. I hate those guys, and so I'm willing to.
Yeah.
Anyway, but also they aren't controlled by ads, so they're not. They can actually, test a bike or test an equipment.
Say it sucks.
Yeah, they said this is what we found out, and they're not cuffed.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as much as I'll praise GCN, they've fallen into that trap. Yeah. They're handcuffed, and so I want that unbiased thing. So that's different, and I think that Strava created something that it's hard to make money at other outside the subscription. Yeah. So subscription-based stuff like Legends,
Cycling Legends,
them, and then also we were just talking about Collective. So
Escape
Collective. Those two.
Senior 50-year-old.
Wow. Anyway. Maybe I went harder Saturday than I thought.
Well,
so
we got a good Belgian on tap. Yeah. So yeah.
But those are the things that are worth it. But what I get out of Strava is, hey, I wonder if Sam went for a ride. That's what I do.
That's exactly.
And then I can look at it. But I don't care about 3D or joining a club or challenging it. But I know people who do, and maybe that's worth it. And that's what it goes back to
tier.
What David? Yeah, have another tier. Have a $20. Yeah. I would pay $20 a year for, or 25 even for what I have right now. It's just top 10, so I can see my time and see what the top 10 of these segments. Even when I was down in Palm Desert, just like how far I'm off of these.
You know what I wish they would do is almost like a monthly option where you could opt out for the winter months, kind of like Zwift does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Where it's, I bet they'd make more money in the long run though. I would pay $5 a month. So $72 is $60 a year,
which is what we're
at right now.
Yeah, but but in order to opt out for my winter months or something. Anyway, I think this is going to hurt him in the long run. I don't think it's a good call, and I'm about to go to the free version. So there we go. Let's jump. We've got both Waples back, so we get to go to our ask questions, our ask segments. So first of all, it's time for it is definitely because we believe best goes first. So it's time for a quick tips with Bike Fit Sam.
No, it's not what I expected.
See how I did that?
Age before beauty. How about
Next
that?
week I'll
Is that
switch.
better?
I'm
Next week I'll
older.
switch.
Yeah.
Next week I'll switch.
I'm older and taller.
Well, he's got a stash, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
come on,
how am I
David.
supposed
He's got
to
a beard.
bash my fellow stash?
Okay, I'll show up next week with a stash. You think that's a stash? I'll show up next week with a stash.
Game on!
Lego.
Sam, first of all, this is brought to us by Ambassador Cycling. Please get to ambassadorcycling.com, check things out, and schedule an appointment with this man because I think he knows his shit. Right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this week I wanted to talk about just everybody's getting ready for their spring rides, spring races, and I actually did a fit on someone today that had this issue, and then just seeing everybody at the Fondo is get your seat height right. And like an easy thing to start with is, I mean, everybody that I saw on the bike this weekend, not everybody, but a lot of people are just bouncing all over because their seat's so high. Jeez. And I'm like, God, that's going to hurt at 90 miles.
Oh, my balls.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like on a pogo stick on that bike. So anyway.
Could that just interrupt?
Yeah.
Because it was colder, right?
Yep.
So people have more clothes on.
Yep.
Oh, I thought you were
Tighter
going to do
muscles
it.
too.
Yeah,
Tighter
exactly.
muscles.
Yeah.
You totally could
be.
be spot on with that.
Yeah.
But like a really good way to start with finding the right seat height would be if you just stick, like what I tell everyone, put your cycling shoes on, put your heels on the pedals and spin around, right? You should be able to keep contact with not rocking around on the saddle. From there, even maybe try just like a centimeter lower. It's going to feel way too low, and it is going to be too low. But from there, as you ride, inch it up like a couple millimeters at a time, over the next few bike rides.
Sure.
Once you find that you lose stability at the bottom of the pedal stroke, and you're like kind of rocking side to side, you've hit your max. You go back down just a couple millimeters and park it there.
Yeah. That's a pretty straightforward way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to get you within the realm. Right. And so that's what, like, when I've tried to teach a lot of the bike shops here locally, that's a really good way of, like, you're not going to cause harm.
Yeah.
And you can find a pretty good, seat height and then work on your pedal stroke there.
Wow. Okay, there we go. And I guess we go to the other Waples program. Ask Dr. David is back. No, ask Dr.
You better
David
refer to me as a doctor.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Only when he's getting his Rafa.
Yeah.
That's when he
Yeah. And by the way, you have to say Rafa. Rafa. David, tonight's question is about gut health and cycling, not necessarily because of your brother's experience this past weekend, but it's interesting that it did come at the same time. But what are some causes and things to avoid while cycling to help with issues surrounding stomach cramps? And for the group, before he replies, what are some things that you have found out the hard or soft way that don't agree with you? Like, I have always had an iron gut. I have never had a problem with, I can ingest just about any single fueling source and be fine. I have never had cramps. I've never shat myself on the bike. I've never pissed myself on the bike, hijack, or anything like that. None of that stuff, none of it's ever affected me. Have you guys ever had anything that's just like, there is a brand I can't speak of?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple.
Taco Bell doesn't count.
Yeah, Taco Bell. Do you know what I got on my way home?
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Oh,
they have great vegan options.
Oh,
so I'm gonna say this. There's a couple of nutrition brands out there that do not sponsor the podcast. I love Scratch.
Yeah,
love Scratch. It's the only one I use. But they have sugar alcohol in them. That has always upset my stomach.
Yeah.
And Scratch is free of that.
Yeah.
So that has always been bad. And then just too many sweets. And I think that's where I got in trouble this last weekend, is I think I didn't have enough of the savory stuff. Because then once I was like, I pulled off because I was like, I got to fix this. And found an aid station and ate some more savory things. That pulled me back.
You get to a certain point, though, in an event, and especially the endurance events, where it's just like, I can't eat anything. I don't want anything. So I drink my calories.
And I will say this, David's going to have the medical piece on this, because we were talking about scratch super fuel. And I was like, man, I could just pound super fuel. Like, that stuff is just cocaine for my system. Well, I did have 2 bottles of that, and I felt a little logged in my stomach. Oh. And so David has, the more explanation on that for why that is. But my stomach, I just couldn't process it. It was like I had just shoved so many calories in my stomach that my stomach was just, we don't know what to do with this.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Paul? You got anything that's just like, no?
Yeah, there's a couple.
We know there are a couple. I know
bran muffins.
I know
bran
you follow
muffins are not so good.
Interesting.
Yeah, that was a bad experience. Yeah. Sodium bicarbonate. Lots of that.
Actually, people do really well with fiber at your age.
I need it. I do eat. I eat a lot of prunes and raisins.
Yeah.
I do, because I like them. It's like my go-to sweet. Hey, honey, you got any prunes?
Hemorrhoid free.
I'm backed up. Then next morning, I'm torn up real bad. Anyway, so sodium bicarbonate. That you got to watch that stuff.
I don't even know.
That's baking soda.
Where are you getting baking soda from?
Yeah, it helps. It gets my lactic acid in my system.
Did you do that during races?
Well, I didn't understand the dosage. I just
just put the powder into his mouth like Cocaine Bear.
I
look got white all over his lips,
like Scarface.
Scarface, yeah. Hey, cockroach, give me some sodium bicarbonate.
Hello to my little friend. Yeah. Oh my God. David, take us out. Talk to me about gut health and things that we should or should not be freaking doing.
Yeah, this is like a huge thing to unpack.
Yeah.
So I'll try to be short with it, because I mean the long and short of it is that there's no golden bullet. Everybody's got a different gut. Everybody's got different bacteria down there. I can tell you that in general, exercise helps your gut microbiome. So in general, people who exercise are going to be better off for it in terms of processing the foods that they eat on a daily basis. With that, like during an event, you're talking about things that upset your stomach versus don't. In general, high amounts of fructose, sugar alcohols, like Sam said, those are harder to absorb. You should definitely, on long endurance rides, be throwing in on top of your sugars something with fat and protein, because it's all about getting calories across from your gut into your blood so that your muscles can use it. And you can't just use the sugar transporters. So you got to use fat, you got to use protein. You can't survive off of those gels or whatever, which are usually pretty high in fructose. The cramps that you usually get, it's a blood flow thing. So when you're exercising, you divert blood from your stomach to your legs, and then like your stomach's trying to process all this food, but it doesn't have blood. So that's a training thing.
110 watts felt so good.
Yeah, that's just you got to train your
Always
stomach.
Feels good.
Yeah, you got to like practice eating and riding, and eventually, hopefully, that goes away. One thing I thought was worth bringing up: has anybody ever heard of fecal transplants?
Oh God,
yes, I have.
Don't talk about that. No.
Because
Okay.
Have you had some kind of experience at some level with that?
Well, so there's like an actual medical reason for the one time that we actually use fecal transplants is for resistant C. diff, which is an infection. Okay, that's like the one. But
it smells good, doesn't it?
Let's just dumb this down for a quick second. Are you talking about taking poopy out of somebody else and putting poopy into somebody else?
Somebody with a healthy gut microbiome, you take their poop and you give yourself an enema and hold it there. Okay, and then that's supposed to transfer their bacteria.
Back here.
There is to your bacteria, and then so there's some
or pack.
I've been hearing about this for a while, and I haven't seen anything good come out about it. But there's some people out there that are trying to demonstrate how fecal transplants could be the next doping.
So some guy's following you to the bathroom, going, "Where are you going? How you feeling?
You look like you've got good body.
You got like a little. You got to go a little number 2.
You were gonna flush that. Can I have it?
I'll give you $500 for that.
Use that? I'll take it.
$500 for that dookie.
Yeah. Put it on your finger and just right up the bottom.
No. It takes more than a fingerful.
Now, what is the logic behind
That's the quote of the night.
It.
That's the name of the show. It takes more than a fingerful.
It takes more than a fingerful. So the logic is that like the first thing you do when you eat food is it has to be digested and broken down before it goes from your gut into your bowel or into your blood. So people with certain bacteria digest food better than others, which in general athletes digest food better than non-athletes. But then there's some athletes that have certain bacteria that there's a list of them you can find that are more common in athletes than non-athletes. So by trying to optimize whatever those are, we don't understand why, you may be able to break down food better and get the nutrients into your blood quicker. And so it's not I'm not suggesting that anybody does this.
I'm not trading poop.
This is like some really poor level
have
research.
My poop.
Yeah.
They can take our freedom.
Also,
but they'll never take our food.
I will also say I have a friend who did a fecal transplant for other than athletic reasons. It was $1,500 for somebody else's poop, and he could only do the enema portion for 5 seconds. So he jammed $1,500 worth of refined poop up his butt and lost it. He couldn't even hold it, so it probably didn't do anything.
I think that was the theme of the movie Midnight Express.
Now, don't they use that typically for IBS?
IBS maybe, and then like there's like some, but the only thing that we've used it for with like decent evidence is refractory C. diff infections.
Yes.
So in the like medical field, but then there's all these people out there trying to show that maybe this is the next doping.
No.
This is like
That's just wrong.
I just found this thing called hostage tape that people are starting to use, and it's kinesio tape, which is something that I use all the time in PT.
Where they put it over their mouth.
Yes.
Why?
For sleeping and shit,
For
right?
sleeping.
So you breathe through your nose?
So you breathe through your nose. And they're like, don't worry, if you have sleep apnea, your body will wake you up if you don't get enough oxygen. I'm like, no, that's why people die in sleep apnea.
But that so sounds like
this is the same thing.
Don't worry, it'll all be over quickly.
Yeah,
Put this tape over your
mouth.
Does this rag smell like chloroform?
I'm just like, I'm shocked. I'm like, and they call it hostage, and it's just a bunch of people with photos of like tape over their mouth.
It's on my social media.
You can't help stupid.
You can't. I'm like, you know what?
If you're gonna,
this is where we're at.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go for a fecal transplant,
do
you
it.
can't help it.
I gotta write
I'll sell you my poop for $1,000.
What were we gonna call tonight's episode?
It's
More than a fingerful.
It takes more than a fingerful. Yeah. Okay, as just like a
wrap
last
this up.
statement. Everybody's gut microbiome is different. If you eat something and it upsets you, that's okay. Do something else. Everybody's going to be different.
Yeah.
So you just gotta. It's trial and error.
Mm-hmm.
There's no
and practice.
There's no lab test. There's no way to figure it out besides trial and error.
Mm-hmm. And practice. Practice is the key. In other words, to go home. You know, if you've got an infant in the house and your infant poops into a diaper, take a fingerful.
That's
stem cells.
No.
Shove it up your ass. See what happens.
Did you guys already hit the CGM thing? I haven't gotten to listen to last week's.
The what?
The CGM thing. Did you talk about that last week? CGM continues.
The monitor?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we kind of did. We need to.
Next time.
But remind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need to talk about that on the next show because
there's
even though I started late, we're still running late.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to make a joke and cut off the show really quickly, but I'm not gonna. Because I'm supposed to tell everybody to like and subscribe, follow us on all the social media platforms, rate us on iTunes, rate us on all those types of things. Unless you're going to be a dick, then don't rate us. I guess that's it. You guys, thank you so much for being back.
Thanks, Pat.
Jackson, quit
being sick.
Quit being sick, man.
With the meddling kids.
Yeah. I got some poop for you. I got some poop for you, Jackson.
Oh, we should give him some poop.